since I was born. Been stacking my coin.
Yeah, it's your boy Crypto Blood, and welcome to another episode, Ask the Block, episode number 3 to be exact. Hope you guys are doing well this weekend. Let's get right into it today. We got some great questions, and hopefully I have some great answers for you. Again, welcome guys to another episode. Today, got 7 questions I curated from you guys, from the comment section in my videos, and we're just gonna get right into it right now. First question is from Gold Silver Cryptos. He asks, CB, do you expect BTC to start rising in a few weeks? Backed was a lot of hype. The volume is really low. Good question. I do think Bitcoin is building a base here. Normally bottoms don't look like V-shaped recoveries. They normally take a couple of attempts at those lower levels to figure out whether or not, it's going to actually be an area where we can say, okay, the bulls have a support area. They've got a wall up and the bears won't be able to go any further. And basically bears run out of sellers to either sell or short the particular asset, in this case, Bitcoin. So I do see that happening. You referred to backed in your question as well, and it made me think about, let's take a look at what the volume for October's contract is for backed. And you guys, I hope remember that backed is one that we really do need to pay attention to when it comes to futures contracts, because they are solely settled in Bitcoin. So at the end of those contracts, or even in the middle, if you decide to exit your contract prior to expiration, those contracts have to be settled in Bitcoin. If you're up 10 Bitcoin in that particular contract, when you hit that sell button, guess what? Backed or ICE has to honor your trade, your profit in Bitcoin. So currently we're looking at October 19th, and that's the year, October 2019 contract, monthly contract for Bitcoin is a measly 57 contracts, guys. And these contracts, at first I thought they were 5 Bitcoin per contract. No, contract size is 1 Bitcoin. So just in 13 days, guys, 13 days of trading, I'm just going to use like 8,000. So we're talking about roughly $430,000 worth of volume for this contract. That is nothing. That is horrible. So not any real effect yet. Doesn't mean it won't be in the future, but as of now, backed is performing very, very poorly. Now, as far as building a base though for Bitcoin, I think so. If we don't go any lower than 7,700 at this point, that is a base. And the reason I'm saying that, I'm just going to delete a couple of these scribble scrabbles on here. This area right here, I'm just kind of drawing a little line here. This area is where we're seeing a battle being won with the bulls. There's a line in the sand, essentially, and it's a little bit above my area that I had a target for, which was 7,400. I'm just going to count these out for you visually so you can see them. 1, 2, 3. 3 strikes, you're out on the bears. That's a triple bottom. Normally that is a good sign for the bulls, and in reverse for the bears. If you have a triple top, normally that's a good sign for the bears. Bad news for bulls or people who are long that particular asset. I think we are building a base, and we shouldn't head back to this level of 7,700, 7,600. That should be a base for us. Bears tried it 3 times and got denied. As you see today on Sunday, huge sell-off, 1 hour sell-off here. That's not a good look short term. We may head a little bit lower like this and then head back up from here. So we definitely may see a pullback lower, but it should ultimately form into higher lows. So this low is higher than this low, so on and so forth. So it should be consecutively higher lows going forward until we hit this line right here, which is an area I think we will run into some resistance. So that is my take on it. I think we are building a base here, and it is not giving financial advice, but if you're looking at that from a technical standpoint, that does kind of mean that the bulls are defending this area, and they've done it 3 times. As you see though, this yellow line at 8,300 is a critical area as well. We've seen a lot of back and forth with this trading range particularly right here in this zone. So we're seeing a lot of action going back and forth here. And we kind of lost that battle again a couple of hours ago, actually. So yeah, that's where we are with that. And I think we are building the base. So thank you for that question. Next question from my man Ryan R on YouTube. Buy the dip still? Essentially, yeah. I mean, that kind of falls in line with the question that we just had from the previous subscriber. I think so. I think this is a buy the dip type of scenario, especially as we're seeing technically those triple bottoms form in at these ranges. So yes, I think this is all an area where you would be buying the dips to support your way on the way back up. Fundamentally, as you guys know, it's no better time to be dollar cost averaging in to Bitcoin and other select cryptos as well, because we're in trouble. Not saying we're going to have an economic collapse or anything like that, but just the situation that's going on with the Federal Reserve, them, continually pushing in liquidity. I tweeted out, I think a couple of days ago, and actually it was a retweet of an article from CNBC that the Fed is extending its overnight funding operations through January of 2020. So again, fundamentally, this is setting us up for unease in the traditional markets. You're going to see capital flow out of those traditional markets, equities, bonds, real estate, T-bills, all that stuff. You're going to start to see it panic, and it's mostly going to, I know you don't want to hear this because this is, we're a crypto community and we're fight the dollar. The fiat is garbage and blah, 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 blah. But 96% of that money is going into cash. That's what happens in traditional markets. And unfortunately, most of the capital that we see that's investment capital, it is still in traditional markets and it's not going to change overnight. So, don't buy that whole, people try to play on people's emotions, fear, greed, both of them, but fear more so, especially on YouTube. When you see negative, fearful type of headlines and stuff, that really grabs a lot of people's attention. That really pulls on their emotions. But you're going to see a lot of money go to the sidelines, dry powder into cash, and from there they will reallocate and maybe wait for dips. Smart money will be on the sideline, wait for dips to get assets at a cheaper prices, and then a little bit, 0.5%, 0.25% of that money will go into cryptos. That's all we need. That's all we need for tripling in prices in cryptocurrencies, because it's such a small market cap. So that's how I would play it if I were any of you out there. Next question is from Heath Miller. I think that's a female, maybe a guy. I'm sorry if I'm, not getting your gender correct there. And you may even identify as unidentified. I don't know nowadays. Anyway, it says, with the SEC attacking crypto IOUs in the U.S., do you think some foreign countries will take the trophy for crypto startups? I have heard Max Kaiser talk about 2 to 3 places. And how do you think this would affect the cash flow of Americans in the future? I know that many new altcoins I can't buy on any exchange. I'm not too sure of which altcoins you're saying you can't buy on exchanges. If they're on exchanges, you can pretty much buy them. Now, when it comes to KYC on that exchange and how much you can pull off at a certain, in frequency and amount per day, per 24 hours, maybe that's a different question. But let me know which ones you're talking about you can't buy on exchanges. But yeah, definitely, SEC is attacking cryptos. They're proving a point. They're going after many different cryptocurrency ICO startups, and they're definitely going to ruin the advancement of that innovation, right, in the crypto or blockchain industry. So yes, you will have countries like Malta, even countries in the EU, Estonia. That's a huge one. They're really progressive over there. They tried to actually create their own cryptocurrency, and it got denied by the head of ECB, Mario Draghi, a year and a half ago. Okay, so, but they're still being very progressive, and they have their own e-residency program. I'm going to bring that up really quickly, but there are many countries out there that are forward thinking when it comes to crypto. So yes, they will get ahead of the game. It probably won't be the US, unless they change their approach to blockchain. And I can't say that they won't ever. You never can say never, but I think they will become a little bit more friendly to cryptocurrencies, blockchain. It'll be so heavily regulated though that it makes it almost no point to do a blockchain startup here in the United States because of all the regulatory baggage and cost and expense with that comes with that. So yeah, you're going to see other countries definitely pick it up much faster than us. I think Canada is a little bit more friendly to crypto, and many of the islands as well. So yeah, that's my take on that. I think we definitely will be behind the ball on this new innovation, these new tech startups in this new industry. But yeah, if you guys want to sign up for e-residency through Estonia, you can do it as a U.S. citizen. It might be something to do. I know a buddy of mine, a close friend of mine, that ended up doing it when I covered it the first time 2 years ago when they launched it. So he just, did the paperwork or whatnot and applied online here, as you can see. And he drove over to Washington, D.C. to actually, I think, either pick up his card or finalize everything. So there are a couple of areas in the United States where you can go to finalize it if you're a U.S. citizen. So check it out if you're interested. It allows you to open businesses in Estonia, sign documents and all that good stuff. So great forward thinking by Estonia. Next question from Crypto Minded. He asks, do you think BTC will fill in the gap at 6,900? So let's take a look at what he's talking about from 6,900. I don't know if he's referring to the gap maybe in the CME futures. I can't remember. I heard someone talking about CME gap or whatnot. I'm not too sure about that. I don't personally, I'm in the camp that I don't see any real correlation or influence the CME futures, which are not backed by Bitcoin and can only be settled in cash. I don't see any correlation or influence, I should say, on the spot price of Bitcoin. But he's talking about a 6,900 gap. Not too sure what he means by that. I don't think so, though. Just kind of going off of what I talked about in the first two questions, see 7,400 being a support area at max, but even higher now is looking like 7,700 may be that area of support for us. So no, I don't see us going back that low. Next question from Caldry Riemann. He asked, or she asked, what crypto coin do you think will be in mainstream in the future? So they gave me three options here: Algorand or HBAR, which is Tetra Hash Graph, or XTZ. So we can take a look at all three of those really quickly. I'm going to be honest with you, Tezos, I have not been following that closely. They've got a buzz. They've got a whole governance platform that seems to be gaining some buzz. I know there is a little money behind it. Some people I know with money are really kind of behind that. It is on Coinbase. The other two are not. That would seem to give, Tezos a little bit of advantage. However, I personally think that HBAR or Hedra Hash Graph is actually going to be the one. If I had to pick out of those three, you only gave me three options. I'm going to shield EOS as number one, but Hedra for sure, I think will take that prize simply because, and I'm not saying that I, from a ideological level or standpoint, think it doesn't really align with what I think blockchain is or should be about. It is open source, but it is controlled by a set group of Fortune 500 companies, essentially. So, really, does that give us any real true freedom from censorship? I don't think so. Like, they're going to add more. I think they're starting with 39 or something like that. They're going to add more organizations that are going to be a part of this. However, I personally think just because of the type of money that's behind Hedra Hash Graph, and the corporate alignment, I'm going to have to go with Hedra. Do your research on them. If you want to just take it from a technical standpoint, definitely one of the faster ones. Okay, definitely one is up there. It's definitely up there. So it looks like it has a price of 3 cents, almost 4 pennies at this point. I don't know where you can buy it, but yeah, this is one you want to look at for sure, giving you a comparison of them calling themselves a third generation. I almost consider them a fourth generation just because it's so much it's so far outside of, it's not even a blockchain, it's a hash graph. It's a new way of solving the Byzantine fault tolerant issue. They're claiming that they're fully Byzantine fault tolerant, unlike Bitcoin, So smart people behind it, and even further than that, big corporations behind it. So it's going to do well. And I think they're going to be able to take a lot of market share when it comes to companies using it for whatever dApps and stuff they develop on top of it. Algorand I like as well, but I think Algorand is maybe too much focus right now on the currency aspect of things. It's peer proof of stake is very unique, and it has, the person who created this token and this consensus algorithm is the individual who created ZK Snarks. Okay, this guy is very smart, has what's equivalent to like a Nobel Peace Prize. He has that prize in computer science, and the guy knows what he's talking about. And he knows what he's doing. Facebook tried to acquire the technology. He decided to go open source with it. So, this is great too. This may have some significant fit in blockchain industry in the future. So I would still definitely look out for Algorand. So if I had to pick, I would say HBAR or Hedera Hash Graph, Algorand, and then Tezos would be my last. And I'm putting Tezos last simply because of my lack of knowledge about it fully. So I could be ignorant to the fact, but I do know more about Hash Graph, Hedera Hash Graph, and Algorand. Those two are very solid. And Tezos maybe too, but again, I don't know as much about Tezos. In addition to that, one last thing I want to just show you, ranking. So Tezos is at 19. So, room for upward growth, a lot more limited. Okay. Hedera ranked 245. A lot of room for growth. Algorand, 24 cents, ranked at 49. Some people say it's a little overvalued. You have to be the judge on that. But yeah, those have a little bit more growth potential, especially Hedera. Let's see where they're trading right now. Hedera is on OKX, Binance, Upbit, Bittrex. Okay, so it's on some major joints. So yeah, take a look at Hedera Hash Graph if you're interested in that. But good question. Thank you for that one for sure. So the next question is about this wealth management platform called BlockFi. Wasn't really familiar with it. And this is from Yimdog on YouTube. Yimdog O. He says, can you give your take on BlockFi, a wealth management platform for crypto investors? Say there's at least a 6% yearly interest rate, but thinking KYC is unquestionable. Yeah, KYC is definitely going to be something that's going to, take place on that type of platform. And I see a year ago, two people asked me about it. One being a person that said Mike Novogratz from Galaxy Digital invested in this company. I don't know much about BlockFi, to be honest with you. I see they sent a link or dropped a link with Anthony Pompolino. I guess he went live with the CEO of BlockFi. Talk about lending deposit accounts and a few exciting announcements. I think this will be, something that people will take advantage of. I think it won't be just one company that takes a lion's share of it. It'll probably be a very competitive market, and I think it has a future for sure. I don't have any real take on it. I think it will do well though. Here's a video.
All right, guys, bang, bang. Let's wait for some people to get in here real quick. Let us know where you're coming in from. What cities are you guys in? Got Zach here.
It's a beautiful morning in New York City.
Where's everyone coming from? We're sitting in Midtown Manhattan right now.
Value premium, the same thing exists in private markets, and as long as we keep growing quickly, there's not as much of a need for us to squeak out profit and EBITDA. That just means we're going to have to pay taxes on it. As long as we're pursuing a really large market opportunity, which we believe that we are, we don't need to make as much margin on every transaction as a big bank. So all of the things that you said are true in terms of our business model and the advantages that we have versus the legacy financial system.
For sure. And then I guess part of this is, so let's start with the lending product, right? So somebody can come in, they can deposit a digital asset, and then you guys will give them a US dollar loan against it. Maybe walk us through how that mechanism actually works.
Sure. So someone creates an account on BlockFi.com.
BlockFi.com/pomp, of course.
BlockFi.com/pomp. They go
Pomp,
through
you
KYC.
shilling hard
It's all
there,
completely
homie.
Automated. KYC process takes less than 3 minutes.
Yeah, there you
and
go.
then they can play
KYC.
with
So yeah, that's gonna be, it's just gonna be what it is, man. And many of you probably don't know, the whole Bitcoin lending thing has been around since I remember. Even back in 2014, 13, it was like straight up some wild west stuff. You could be a lender and yield some return on your Bitcoin, or you could be one that's looking to borrow Bitcoin from individuals or crypto from individuals. And that was a big platform for a while. I can't remember the name of the company, BTC Lend, or I can't remember, but back then it was at first it was like no anything. You just had to go on, you would have to submit your social media profiles, your bitcointalk.org account, and all, various profiles online. And you have people willing, roll the dice on lending you capital. It worked for a while until, of course, us as humans, we come in and corrupt things, and people start getting burned. And then they started kind of basically doing KYC with it on their platform. It was real kind of rudimentary, very cut and dry. It wasn't like it is today with like a lot of these different companies that are solely have been created to facilitate KYC in a very quick way. As the guy from BlockFi said, it takes three minutes. With that platform back then, it was taking days, if not weeks, for them to go through. I don't know what you had to send in, pictures or mail or whatever. I was on there, was going to do some lending, but ended up not even doing it because I was making so much money mining. I was like, whatever at that point. But yeah, if any OGs remember that, give me a shout out in the comments below of some of those lending platforms from back in the day. People think that Salt Lending and BlockFi, and there's a whole bunch of them out there, is a new idea. It really isn't. It really isn't. Last question for today. Heath Miller again asks, can you talk more about the 5 to 10 fastest coins that you know of? I know EOS, XRP, XLM, DGB, NEO are all fast, but it's hard to find info. Most of the older coins are really slow. Most have block times from 1 minute to 10 minutes. And can you talk about block time, what that means in the real world, a little more for the new coiners in the room? Good question. Second good question from Heath today. So I appreciate that. I did a little digging because it was interesting. I never even searched for this, and I never even thought about looking for a source that had all this type of information. But what was a shock to me was that many of these sources are outdated, and the ones that are at the top, if you search for it, are very, like this one here really takes a cake. This was done October 10th of 2018. Does not even have EOS on here. So it's a lot of propaganda, or has been in the past, which is fine because I'm just able to accumulate more and more EOS. Didn't even have EOS on here, which EOS is like 1 second, 1.5 seconds faster than Ripple for sure. They've got Ethereum at 10.6 seconds. They've got Stellar at 5 seconds, which is fast. That's fast. That is fast. But when you start 10 seconds, 2 minutes, Litecoin 2 minutes, Bitcoin Cash is not that fast either. The ones that are touting to be currencies of the future, this is not going to work. This is not going to work. So again, it's just so interesting they don't even mention EOS. I found a couple of other ones. This one being one, which was interesting. Futurepia, horrible name. Looks like it's the fastest though. They've got I've never even heard of this. It's new to me. Double delegated proof of stake. So this is based off of Dan Limmer, the CTO of EOS. He created delegated proof of stake when he created Steam. But this looks like a third generation type of blockchain consensus algorithm called double delegated proof of stake, which is interesting. but it looks like this has the fastest verified at 300,000 transactions per second. You can look into that. I've never even heard of this, so that's interesting to see. Number 2 though was EOS. Okay, EOS, it crossed 3,000 seconds per transactions per second. Okay, and with the upgrade to EOS 2.0 coming very soon, you will see speeds of 50,000 or even higher, higher than that actually. Eventually you'll be able to get those types of speeds. So EOS by far is the number one. Then we got stuff like Ripple at 1700 TPSs. Neo is up there. I want to find out what this one called Nano. We need to take a look at Nano's TPS really quickly, because I know that one's a fast one as well. Digibyte is pretty high up there as well, but nowhere near EOS at all. Nothing is touching EOS as far as real world TPSs, except this Futurepia one, which I've never heard of. So it looks like right now Nano is doing about 7,000, EOS around 5,000. But again, EOS 2.0 is coming out. It's going to be in the 50,000 range or even higher. Komodo supposedly is doing 20,000. Turnio is doing 1 million TPS. So never heard of this one either. So there you kind of gives you a context there. But Digibyte, as I stated before, it's pretty fast too at 560 TPSs. And as you can see here, Bitcoin 4 to 10 transactions per second. I think Ethereum is like 13 transactions a second. But back to your question about real world usability and scalability of this stuff. Even numbers at where Litecoin is, where we have coins like Ethereum, not scalable, not you really can't use that in real life on a real global scale. It just won't work. You know, you need stuff that is at least 5,000 at minimum. 3 to 5,000 is where I could say, okay, you can use this coin for real world payments. Now the question is, are those speeds sustainable as you scale? And that's the issue with a lot of these coins that are smaller. They may be able to do 7,000, you know, Nano 7,000 TPSs, but can they scale and keep that? Okay, there's a side chain that will enhance EOS's TPSs, and they're doing like 1 million, somewhere around there. So those are going to be good use cases for gaming, stuff like that, where you really need it instantly, you know. So yeah, that's kind of my breakdown on that. Good question though. The closest is EOS, and that's why I'm putting my bag with EOS. You know, I'm betting on EOS because they're the closest, and they have the ability to scale even higher. And I know I you know, sound like a broken record here, but go visit blocktivity.info and just look at, you know, the stats. These are the real world stats that you want to watch. These are the numbers you want to look at. Average 7-day average on as far as operations on the blockchain. These are the type of numbers you want to look at. EOS 46 million. Number 2 is not even close. Tron 1.9 million, and it just goes down from there. These kind of indirectly reflect TPS because there's a cap. You know, if you can only do X amount of transactions a second, then you know your upper bound as far as operations on the blockchain is going to be capped as well. So there you have it. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Great questions for episode 3 of Ask the Block with your boy Crypto Blood. Again, if you guys want to participate in the next one, all you have to do is hashtag with your question AskCB, and I will get to it. All right, make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. I'm out of here, people. Holla.
Bitcoin, Litecoin.